I want to be very fair and very balanced here this morning because, you know, there's so many bad cop stories out there that you hardly ever hear the good cop stories. And I do realize, believe you me, I do realize that there are a few good cops out there. But there's so many bad that it outweighs the good of the few. Nevertheless, you know, if we're going to be what you call intelligent people, and we're going to use what I call self-autonomy, we're going to report not only the bad, but we're going to report the good, the bad, and the ugly. Down in Florida, there was a woman that went to a Publix, and she needed some food for her family. They're starving. And it's the story that permeates here in America. You have a woman, single, 3-4 children. She needed some food for the family. She gets caught shoplifting. The cop that was called to the scene, rather than arrest her, made the judgment. Instead of arrest her, bought her $100 worth of groceries. And then once they found out that that cop did that good deed, it sent a wave of people, you know, the people in the community. All of a sudden, man, we got somebody in our community like is starving like this. I mean, a woman legitimately, because, you know, I'm a Torah teacher. And as a Torah teacher, the Bible, the scriptures, that many of you say you know, and many of you don't care to know. But it does not teach you to condemn someone if they steal food to eat. And I know that's beyond many of you folks because you so much caught up in stealing that you don't understand the extreme mercy and grace when it comes to Torah. I mean, most people don't understand it, but anyway. And I have to commend this woman cop right here for doing this deed, because not only that, it brought awareness that starvation is very real here in America. And you can't blame a woman for wanting to steal food in order to feed her family, and they're so grateful and thankful and so humble, and the tears streaming down their face literally just it causes tears to come to my eyes, because that's the way it is supposed to be. That's the way it is supposed to be. And I tell you what, here in this country, we throw away so much food, even if the majority of it is genetically modified. At least they got something in their belly. But we throw away so much food on a daily basis, and we have this attitude where we call people who can't afford to go out and buy food deadbeat. We call them deadbeats, useless, oxygen takers, all the derogatory statements that are there, and just literally no mercy. Maybe my attitude is different, because my attitude is of this mindset. You know, my mother and father has always provided for us. I can't think of a day that I've ever been what you call hungry in life. And I've fasted many, many times. I've been in situations when I was in the military where I just literally couldn't get any food. And I had to make use of my surroundings in order to get food, because, I mean, but that's by choice, mission, if you understand what I mean. And fasting is by choice. But to actually sit up there and starve in a country that has so much abundance. You know, I've often said it once. If I said it once, I said it 1,000 times. If you want to know the character and the nature of your country, you watch how it treats its poor. That'll tell you the character and nature of this country. Because, you know, the rich, they look down. You know, because they have Federal Reserve notes of money, they actually look down their nose and they despise the poor. It's in their heart. They do. And all their trust is in their substance that they can obtain here in this world and what they can amass in this world. I mean, it's just bad. It really, 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 truly is bad. It's just really bad. But I commend this particular police officer, this cop right here, for doing justice, real true justice, because she flat out said it. Arresting her is not going to solve the problem of her children being hungry. What are you going to do? Take the only staple of the family that is left, a woman, and stick her in jail, and then the children really gonna starve? I mean, You got men out there, so-called men. They may be men genetically, but they damn sure ain't men. These sorry pieces of crap. They'll have family, a wife and children, and starve them. Don't even care. Won't even put food in the house, but they'll make sure their gut is filled. Now that's a definite. Now that's a bastard. If you want to know what a bastard is. But we have this type of insensitive nature here in this country. It's just appalling. It's beyond me. It really truly is. But with all the bad cop stories that we have out there on a daily basis, it is nice to be able to report some good. I'm going to include the news link down here below. It's got a video with it right here. As a matter of fact, I'll read you a little bit of it right here. It says, a struggling Florida mom who was caught trying to shoplift hundreds of dollars of groceries ended up with food and a ride home from a kind-hearted police officer instead of a ride to the station house. And it's good that this police officer didn't send her to the station house, because, you know, the only reason why that these so-called justice centers are there, they're cash cows. They're there to take more revenue and extract more revenue from the populace, from the people. They're not interested in justice, nothing at all. They're only interested in this. That's like up here in this little town where I live at. They had an opportunity to build a community center that would enhance this community that is meth-ridden. I mean, it is meth-ridden up here in this country. The children don't have anything to do. They have nowhere to go to pass time. They have no role models or nothing. So all they do is engage in immorality, debauchery, just whatever they can, because there's just literally no examples whatsoever at all. And they had an opportunity. The commission had a vote to either build a community center or another jailhouse. You know what they did, don't you? Yeah, they went for the cash cow. They built another jailhouse, what they call a justice center. And then the people who actually run it inside them, there's no justice in them boogers whatsoever at all. You all see the character and nature of these people up here. But anyway, when the Miami-Dade police officer Vicky Thomas, 55, was dispatched to look into a shoplifting case at a Publix grocery store, the store manager led her to Jessica Rose. She was crying and said, okay, what did she take? And he pointed her to the grocery cart. It was full of groceries. Thomas told ABC News, I've been on the job 23 years, and I went, wow. She just filled up the grocery cart, and she just walked out, which shocked me. And I asked her why. Thomas recalled, she said, my children were hungry, and that immediately impacted me. Well, Thomas Rose told her through tears, I'd love to be able to tell you I'll never do this again, but I can't because my children are hungry. And I can't blame them. I literally truly can't blame them. And that's the reason why Pastor Dow continually keeps over and over and over again, try my best for those who have ears to hear. And maybe you can help get this video out. And maybe then that'll be the start of people watching the rest of my videos to receive some type of intelligence. That you're going to have to start learning how to grow a garden. And it is a steep learning curve. You're going to have to start learning how to think independently, because one day, I know that it's a shock of your life, but one day those grocery stores are not going to be there. Those shelves are not going to be full. Then what are you going to do? You know, homesteading used to be the staple here in this country. People, they didn't depend on the grocery store or going down to the market for every day to get something to eat, or once a week. They had a food storage. How has this escaped our heart and our mind today? How is it? And what has gone on that we've had this seismic shift in our conscience to where we can't even think no more today about just preserving our own self? You know, who cans today? Who does that when you can go to the store and buy a can? I understand that, but man, I tell you what they've done to us. See, the system, if I said it once, I said it 1,000 times. The system wants you totally dependent upon it. You're not going to meet too many cops like this lady right here. I promise you. Because you got these little young punk road cops that they'll go and arrest her and don't care that the children are starving, because they have a certain way that they look. This woman got a heart as big as Texas right here. But anyway, Thomas told her partner, Thomas and her partner took the woman to the car, completed her paperwork, and then Thomas asked her to wait a few minutes. I grabbed my debit card, ran back to the store, and bought the things that would sustain her for a week. or so. And when I walked out, she saw that I had a cart of groceries. She busted out in tears and asked if she could hug me, which is a kind and unusual, it's kind of unusual for a suspect to being hugged by an officer. That's because, everybody, the popos ain't got no good reputation. The police, nowhere. I mean, if you had a scale of 1 to 100 about the reputation of police, they would be a -1. That's the way the public views the police today. Thomas said with a laugh, I let her hug me. Thomas made it clear that she technically arrested Rose, but look at it. The woman had no priors or shoplifting, and since the amount of goods she tried to steal amounted to just under $300, the cutoff for the misdemeanor, it was up to Thomas' discretion whether to arrest her or give her the misdemeanor and get a promise to appear in court. She chose the latter. The woman didn't have a car. Thomas loaded up $100 of groceries into the police car, and the officers gave her a ride home. I'm a full-service cop, Thomas joked. Well, I mean, hey, and you can go on and read the rest of the article if you want to, but man, I tell you, this woman ought to be commended. She should be commended. She should, and then it talks about gas in the car, but these acts of kindness, they're so few and far and in between in this country. Let me say this. If you have means and if you have substance, you do not possess means and substance simply to hoard it for your own self and what you call your own. Means and substance is there for you to be able to provide for those who are literally trying, so that they themselves can have some type of self-worth and integrity and stuff. I mean, after all, what is life if all we're going to do is just hoard up for our own little selves and make ourselves comfortable while everybody else around us is starving? I mean, we see people that have need, and we have all this substance, but yet we shut up our bowels of compassion, and we don't give to the people who legitimately needs it. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some people up here, and I'm going to reserve my comments. I just got finished talking to another retired veteran that lives at the end of the road up here. He says to me the other day, I seen him yesterday up in Tompkinsville and stuff. And he says, and he's a white man, a veteran. And he says, Brother Dow, he said, I tell you what, he said, this has got to be the Mecca of white trash. Got to be the Mecca of white trash. And he begins to explain to me what's going on and what's happening, even with him up there on the end of that road. And I just told him, I said, brother, if you ever need help, you know where we at. All you have to do is pick up that phone and call, or just drive down there and I'll be there. Brother in arms. Because you got some stupid, silly people around here. But anyway, the world is filled with bad people, and it's going to be that way. And you need to realize that. But it's only the very few good people that can impact, because you know us as human beings. Whenever someone hurts us, we put up a wall, we put up a guard, and we try to never get hurt again. And to make sure we're never touched like that again, because the hurt is just too painful. And in this world, it's a dog-eat-dog world. I mean, the last thing you want is to be put into a position to where you're non-caring and you have to fight. And because then it brings out the worst. It brings out the bad in you. And nobody, every single one of us, and I'm at the top of the chain, that there's evil that dwells deep down in his heart, that has the potential to come out at any given time. And it's the goodness of the Most High. It's following his word that continues to keep that evil suppressed, where good can continue to keep showing. Because you know that if somebody cross your path and stuff, or somebody's doing you wrong, man, I'm telling you, just in order to preserve yourself, what does the natural mind and natural body say? It says bring out the evil to preserve and protect and stuff, and then you become heartless, senseless, cold, and cruel. That's just all there is to it. And nobody wants to ever tap into that side of nature, because you become non-caring, you become vindictive, angry, obstinate, mad. I mean, all the above. And even while you're doing that, it doesn't make you feel good, but you find out it's the only way you can preserve yourself from the rest of the people around you who are just nothing but just literally wicked. So I try my best. To make sure that I live a good life, all that I can. That doesn't mean that people are going to continue to keep doing good, because you have to understand, I'm a pastor. And as a pastor, I preach and I teach. And most people think that the principles that I preach and teach, even though I stand for them, they originate with me. And so when they get angry and upset, they get angry and upset at me, and not knowing that they're getting angry and upset at the one that I'm representing as an ambassador here on this earth, because I'm preaching and teaching his word. So they think that they're doing the evil to me, when they're really doing the evil to him. But when the heart is compromised, what do you expect? But anyway, I don't know how I got off on all this. I think I could be talking to somebody out there. But I do know this: life is too short to run around angry, mad, and upset, and bitter, and allowing yourself to be destroyed because of some other wicked person. That's why I say over and over and over again, surround yourself, by good people. With good people. But I will tell you this: I commend this police officer right here, because she is one of the few good ones that is left. I wouldn't even written a report. Myself, I don't even know how that even got out in the news right there. She probably didn't ask for it. You know how it is. You know how news sources are. If it's something that they can report a story that's going to benefit them, their network, or their job, they're going to do it. There's always good acts of kindnesses that's happening every single day, but you don't ever see them report it. You never see them report it, because it's not a profitable story. I mean, it's just amazing how hypocritical this country is that we live in. But anyway, hey, the article is down here. I've said enough here this morning. I'm starting to ramble, because I get all these different thoughts running through my head and mind. But, I thank the Father that there's at least one good cop in Florida. Just at least one. At least one. I hope I said something to stimulate thought, mind, and conscience with you this morning. I can only hope that I did. I only hope I did. Have a good day.